Hello, my name is Alex Ars and welcome to Vindolanda Roman Fort here in the northeast of England. And we've got Penny right here as one of the site archaeologists and is one of the members of staff here at Vindolanda, and we're just going to ask some questions about what is Roman Vindolanda. So if you were explaining Vindolanda for the first time, what would you actually say to someone?
Well, Vindolanda is a really exciting fort because it was actually here before Hadrian's Wall existed. It's one of the Staingate forts on the Staingate frontier, and the first fort here was built in AD 85. And we actually have 9 forts at Vindolanda. They sit all one on top of each other, and it's basically layers of occupation. And the really exciting thing about Vindolanda is it was occupied for over 400 years. In the Roman times, and then we have a post-Roman occupation as well. And we've been excavating here for 52 years now, and so we're learning more and more about the site each year.
So it's fair to say that when you walk around Vindolanda, rather than maybe at some other Roman sites where you've just got one fort, and yes, it's changed on the inside, and they obviously have interpretation panels where they explain the changes. Here at Vindolanda, when you just start walking into the site, you've got so many different things going on at the same time. Would you be able to sort of explain a little bit of like where we are right now, but also just point in the direction maybe of some of the changes that have happened over time?
Absolutely. So when we consolidate the site, we try to keep it as user-friendly as possible. So most of what you see when you come through the door is 3rd century. But there will be bits and pieces that poke up from underneath that are of an earlier period. So just up behind us here, we have the Severian commanding officer's house, which actually sits within the town, the extramural settlement of the 3rd century fort. Inside the fort, you'll have the round houses poking up underneath the fort walls that are also from the Severian period. So everywhere you look, you can sort of find the clues to the earlier occupations at Vindolanda.
Wonderful. And obviously you've just mentioned Septimius Severus, who is obviously the Roman emperor who actually fought against the people who were in what is today modern Scotland, or is in northern Britain. And there's a belief that he had a sort of possibly an involvement here at Vindolanda and used this as a supply base to go north. Is that true or not? Oh.
It's really difficult because that period of our time is at Vindolanda is that 5-year period. It's a really short period. What we do have is a very interesting settlement here at Vindolanda for that period. We have a fortlet rather than a fort. It's very small. It has massive ramparts, sort of 27 meters wide, huge. And that's where we get some of our really big ditches and some of our really great resources in terms of the anaerobic. We had over 400 shoes come out of one Severian ditch.
Wow.
So it's really interesting. In the round houses that we have combined with that little fortlet are unique. They are round. Romans don't really build round, but they're made of stone. They're set out in a very militaristic style right next to the fortlet. So we're still working out what is going on here. And that's one of the reasons for our current scheduled monument consent and excavation, is to work out what's happening in that period here at Vindolanda.
Yeah. And one of the most special things is actually here at Vindolanda, you're actually looking at a place that was occupied for so long that people built their lives here, and then when they got through things, they threw them away. And so when you're digging here, you've got 9 forts, as you said, and I'm guessing most of the time when they throw stuff away, they actually throw it into the ditch outside of the fort, which is where you get some of your nicest archaeology.
Absolutely. We love going through people's rubbish here. It's really exciting to see those things that people have lost, they've used and worn through and thrown out. Shoes are one of the great examples of that. You can see the wear and tear that's there within the shoe. We also find that, with the flooring that's happening, things are slipping into the flooring within the buildings and being lost that way. So it's not just, our finds aren't just located to ditches and pits. We tend to find things, drop down cracks in the road or, in the floors of the buildings themselves. So it's a really exciting place to excavate.
Yeah. And alongside that as well, one of the most famous things about Roman Vindolanda is the fact that you have actual first-hand accounts where you've got written evidence from the people living here. Would you like to just tell us a little bit about the Vindolanda Letters, or the Vindolanda writing tablets as they're more famously known?
Yeah, so the writing tablets were they're super cool. They're really exciting. They were first uncovered in the early 70s. Robin Burley and his excavations here were the first people to come across this form of writing, the wood with the ink on it. And since then we've had thousands found at Vindolanda, and we continue to find them year on year. Whenever we go down into those deeper excavations where we have no oxygen, that's where the writing tablets can survive. They're very delicate and they need a lot of looking after. So for instance, the tablets that we found in 2017 just in these buildings here have just started coming out of conservation, just started finishing up their translations and learning about what they actually say, because Romans use slang just like we do today. And so working out what the words are, what are they trying to tell us, is a really exciting job, and not one that I partake in, but I leave that to the experts.
Now, obviously, it's the 1900th year of Hadrian's War. So is there any connection to Emperor Hadrian here at Vindolanda?
Yes, we're actually just standing quite close to a connection. So 4 meters sort of beneath our feet here, we have a very large, one would say, palatial building. And it is thought that when Hadrian came up to view his wall, see how it was being built, that he may have stayed here at Vindolanda. Now, so far we haven't actually found any concrete evidence of that, but we like to think that that is what that building's for. It's a high status building that's happening here. So it is possible, and we keep our eyes open every time we excavate.
That's amazing. The sort of last question I have for you is, when you're looking around here at Vindolanda, what is your favourite item either in the museum or your favourite part of the excavation that you love showing to people or talking about when you get an opportunity?
Well, I think the things that are really great are the things that people connect with, they can understand, they see that in themselves. So actually one of my favourite items, again from the 2017 dig, is a small wooden spoon. We all have that in our kitchen, and I just think, you know, the design hasn't changed in 2,000 years. It's a beautiful item that we can all go, oh, yes, I know what that is straight away. You know, every time I use my wooden spoon in my kitchen, you can think of the Romans doing the same here 2,000 years ago. So,
well, thank you so much for your time and being able to sort of bring Vindolanda to life for people who basically are listening on the other side of the world right now. As always, thank you so much for watching. We really hope you've enjoyed the episode and you'll join us for another episode in the near future. Until then though, stay safe and well, and thank you so much.